impromptu live to talk about Conclave Arcana, all things Splinterlands, new edition, new packs, new cards, new promos. You guys have heard me talk about it over the last couple weeks. Things are exciting. Tokenomics look good. Flywheel looks like it's firing. Some of the big boys, the whales in the community, are going hard and burning serious SPS. There's so many cool things happening within Splinterlands, and I am super fired up about where we were at and where we're going. And so I just had some time and I wanted to jump on live and talk about Splinterlands Conclave Arcana. If you guys are new to my channel, my name is Dwayne. I go by Infidel1258. You can call me 12. But I do cover Splinterlands. It's a blockchain-based video game that rewards you for your time and effort. You get cryptocurrencies, you get non-fungible tokens. These are assets that you get to own and control and use either within the context of the game or maybe within the game, which is to say, on the marketplace, not necessarily even in the battle mechanic of the game. It's got this amazing, auto brawler, which is pretty cool. You build your card collection, you set them in motion, and maybe you win a battle or maybe you don't. But there's also this piece beyond that where there's this economic aspect where you're understanding supply and demand of tokens as well as cards, and you are positioning yourself to maximize the effectiveness of your reach within it. It's not just the battle game, it's more than that. And so I love the game. And this is a cool match I saw earlier. Look at the Relinor Cleaver just putting in work. This combination of Relinor with the Elias Pruitt, he's just deleting. He's got 15 armor there, and that's armor piercing armor. So he hits for 10 melee and then 15, 16, 17 armor pierce damage. This is a fun one. I put it on X earlier. Now, it's if you're new, you won't know, but Oceanus has something called Force Field, and that diminishes any attack over 5, bringing it down to 1. And so while we were hitting like a truck and we were eating everything else alive, we didn't quite rip through the Oceanus in the same speed. But that's a fun battle, and I love the combos that are possible in this game. And with every new edition, there's more and more combinations. That's more and more complexity and more agency for the player. What is agency? It's the ability to go left or right. You get to choose. Do I go left or right, forward or backward? And those choices change the outcome. If you pick the right monsters, you will win. If you pick the wrong monsters, you will lose. If you effectively navigate the investment market, finding the right cards and not all cards, because some cards are better or worse, you find the right cards, you're going to more effectively grow what you're doing in Splinterlands for less investment. That allows maybe a bigger bag of SPS, which is the token that allows multiplication and higher rewards within the context of the battle. And so navigating, nobody has money to throw at everything. Conclave Arcana is awesome, but nobody has money to throw at everything. So you choose wisely what you choose, and then you have a degree of success based on some of those choices. That's the agency piece. Both on the battle, there's agency, as well as the building, the game within the game, building your deck and building what you're doing here. There's agency. And so that's partly why it's far more complicated than most people think, and it's far more rewarding and entertaining than maybe you might presume at first glance. Dwayne, you're not even fighting. You're just pressing start and the computer plays the rest. Yes, but there's so much thought in this. You could say the same thing about, football, NFL football, or even baseball. Like what happens at every single pitch in baseball. Every single pitch is a new moment where it could be a strike or it could be a home run. It could be a fast pitch or a fastball or a curveball. Those little changes in every single instance affect the final outcome. And so every moment is deeply meaningful. And that's the truth within the context of Splinterlands, because it's a well-designed, in fact, I think a genius game. And so I love it. And so I'm here to talk about it. And that's what we talk about regularly. So if that sounds interesting and you're new, maybe sub. But I don't just want to talk about the game broadly or generally. I want to talk specifically about Conclave Arcana. And so I'm just going to check and see if we are cruising. Looks like we are. Devin Smith is in the house. He says, evening. Woody's here. He says, hey, Dwayne, how do I become a member of your channel to get access to your member-only lives? Yes, man. Thank you for asking. I'll tell you right now. You look me up on YouTube here. There is a link in my description. I'll tell you that right off the gate. But if you come in here and you go into YouTube Studio, this is my studio, but then we go to community. No, that's not right. You know what? I'll point you back to the description. So if you go into any video, this is my last video, and there is a support my YouTube channel right there. That is the link that allows you to go to the membership page, and I'll pull it up right now by copying and pasting that. Boom. So this is Dwayne Cunningham, YouTube. Join the channel, and you can pick whatever level you're interested at. Bronze, you will have access to those weekly member live events. Silver, higher level support, different badges. Gold, Diamond, and Champion. At Diamond and Champion, I actually spend time with people. Like I'll do one-on-one stuff with you, like meaning one-on-one. You know, there's a commitment in there, like an hour, I think a week or per month even on these different levels. So, but bronze is $3 is amazing, and it helps me do what I do here. So thank you for asking, Woody. And yeah, that will open the door for all the members access events, including all those that have happened in the past. So you'll suddenly see a whole new set of video content that you'll be able to enjoy. Yeah, so Conclave Arcana looks amazing. And I've already moved pretty hard in some stuff, and there's been a lot of action. The fireworks started 45 minutes ago, and some cool things are already happening. So let's take a moment and look at that. Conclave Arcana sale window just began. It began literally 45 minutes ago, or 45 and a half minutes ago. And there's a lot of packs moving already in 45 minutes. There was 500,000 standard packs maximally available, and we've sold 47,000 or 46,400-ish. Alchemy packs, there was, I think 100. I actually don't know how many alchemies there were. I think it might have been 100. I don't know. I shouldn't say that. I don't really know. I can pull up let's see. Pre-sale. Yeah, there's supposed to be 100,000 alchemy packs and 50,000 legendary packs. So let's go back here. So there's 25,000 alchemy packs that have sold already. 25,000. That is wild. That is really wild, because it's 25,000 plus 25,300 or whatever times 12,000 DEC per unit. That's a lot of money. Just this one window alone. Actually, I'm going to pull out my calculator here for a second. We'll just do the quick math on that. So we go 25,000 units times 12,000 DEC. That's how many DEC were spent this morning in the last 45 minutes on just alchemy packs. And you have to divide by 1,000 to get a US dollar valuation. So 300,000 US dollars was spent this morning on alchemy packs alone, just alchemy packs, not standard packs, not legendary packs. Standard was another 50,000 packs times 4,000 equals 200. Is that 2 million? I can't do the math in my head, and I don't want to bounce back and forth with the calculator. Alchemy so far the most impactful. Let's see legendary. And there were originally 50,000 of the legendaries, and we've moved 6,000 or 5,000 of the, no, we've moved just under 6,000 of the legendary packs. And of those packs, you times that by 24,000 DEC. That's a nuts valuation. Actually, you know what? Let's crunch the number. So we got 300,000 DEC, sorry, 300,000 US dollars from the alchemy sales. And then we sold 6,000 times 24. So 300,000 US dollars for the alchemies, but then we got to go 6,000 packs times $24,000, 24,000 DC divided by 1,000. That's another 144,000. So we're up to 450 in sales. Then we go standards. In standards, we sold call it 46,000. This is how many packs times 4,000 DC each divided by 1,000. 184,000. So we in 45 minutes we have sold plus I think it was 460. I think it was. I might be a little off on that number, but 640,000 US dollars have moved through into the hands of Splinterlands this morning because of Conclave Arcana sales. That is a crazy amount of money. And if people want to talk about Splinterlands is like not thriving, or the game is irrelevant, or that the community is done, or that the game is dead, they aren't paying attention. Like they just aren't paying attention. That's a crazy amount of money, right? Like $750,000 was spent in 45 minutes on these theoretical packs. I say theoretical because they're digital. They're not physical. There's no Conclave Arcana card that's going to come to you in the mail. It's literally a digital piece of information that that has a certain utility and functionality. And it will be delivered. I have full confidence in that. But just, it's so exciting actually to think about $750,000 in 45 minutes being spent on a digital asset that literally has no physical representation in the world. And yet it has real world utility. What is that utility? Well, we looked at the battles earlier. These battle mechanics that we play within the rank context are paying SPS battle rewards. This win, I think 8 or 9 SPS. We just skipped to the end here. I got 8.5 SPS from that battle in Modern. This is one of the utilities. Modern League is a rank battle where I can compete against other opponents who have their own deck and their own level expertise within the game, and I can, if I win, I unlock not just SPS but Glint, and these are rewards. That's utility. That's one of the utilities. But then there's other, because there's not just Modern League, there's Wild League, and there's not just Wild League, there's Survival League, and each of these leagues has different conditions and card inputs and limitations, and those are, again, barriers for the agency of the player that create complicated and satisfying interactions for the player, meaning the guardrails of the unique rank experience force you to imagine how best to win. That is a creative environment, a digital creative environment that requires expertise, competency, and yes, a certain amount of investment. And every one of these leagues is a lane in which you can play, a pool in which you can play, where there are financial rewards for your effort, your time, and your attention. And that is a huge piece of why this game is crushing it, and why it absolutely is thriving, why people are willing to spend, three-quarters of $1,000,000 in 45 minutes on this digital card game. And so I'm loving it. And Conclave Arcana, there's so much more to say about it too. Like this is an interesting piece in terms of how it points to the liveliness of our community. I don't think for a second the fireworks are done. I do believe that these packs will probably sell out. I said originally, I think the 500,000 on the standards will sell out. I've said originally the alchemy and the legendary probably would not sell out. And I said that on the presumption, I said that based on my own thinking of like, where I don't know if I had my head wrapped around what alchemy and legendary were. And so I'm now changing that opinion. I think that clearly people disagree with me. These alchemy packs are worth more in some sense than even the standard packs. And I'm beginning to believe that and see that too, before outside of this data. I'll say that I was convinced about the value of the legendaries and the alchemy packs before the sale went live. And I was in part because of Stever. Stever is another content creator on YouTube. You guys can check him out. He's an amazing man. And we recently did a video together, actually. Actually, it's this one, SPS. No, that's not the one. We did a live just a couple days ago. And it's called Conclave Big Reveal with special guest Stever. And in that video, you're going to hear some of his thoughts on the approach to Conclave Arcana and how significant it is, as well as these promo cards and how impactful they are. And this is a big piece of what changed my mind. These cards and their impact, as well as what I'm gleaning from the constant releases of cards through content creators, which, by the way, another piece of evidence that the community is alive and thriving. Splinterlands goes, hey, who wants to show some of this material on their socials? And a huge amount of people step up and say, yeah, me, of course. Yes, we want to share promo cards. Splinterlands. Ooh, I want to click on that, but not. I want to finish my thought. The amount of content creators that stepped up and said, yes, me, including myself, right? And then the viewership around that stuff is significant and impactful. This is 2 promo cards, that little video that we're watching here from Blaze, Rolling OTB, who is the advertising lead or head at Splinterlands. And he's showing the promo cards. That's one of the promo cards in action. And this is a shapeshifter. So the shapeshifter benefits. So is that. That's another shapeshifter. And they will benefit from this hippo dying, which has Bloodline Tribute. It's a new ability, and when the Bloodline Tribute goes down, and it has self-res, it's called Resurgence or something. And so when it dies, it's gonna benefit its all other Ulans or hippos. And those shapeshifters are quote unquote hippos because they are shapeshifters. They are every race. There's so much going on in this video. I can't believe I haven't seen this before. It happened 4 hours ago, and there's a card up there that I'd never seen before. There's so much to show and talk about, but I just want to say that the community is just hyped about this. Actually, look at this. Like just even the viewership on some of these, like these content creators posting some of the new cards. I'm going to repost that. And I want to look at some of these cards today too. Let's go send that one out. I've been reposting because that's a way where I can kind of come back and see them by myself later. Wow. Repost. I like the artwork too, by the way. So this is awesome. This is what an exciting moment. And it is absolutely crazy that people are still sleeping on Splinterlands. Been around for 7 years, thriving, surviving, bear markets, bull markets, you know, huge dizzying heights before, and we're not there. To me, that's opportunity. That's not caution or concern. That's opportunity. I'm gonna take a breath, grab a drink of my coffee, check on the chat, and I want to. One of the things I want to do is I want to look at my reposts, because my reposts are going to be all the recent cards that we're going to see from Conclave. And so there's some cards in here I've never seen, and so you'll see some of my first reactions there. But like I say, we'll grab a sip of coffee. I'm gonna check on the chat and say hello. Bree and Dave, good to see you guys. Devin, there is a spending list on the leaderboard. It's 628,000 currently. Okay, that's great to know. Thank you, Devin. 636 now. That was a 1 minute. Those notes were 1 minute apart, guys. Woody says it has a total DEC spent on the Conclave Arcana pre-sale leaderboard. Thank you for that. That's wild. So many sold already. Absolutely. And it's just getting started, Crystal. And it's very exciting to see where that's going to go. Because I do think, I was alluding to this a little bit, talking about the promo card. I alluded to it when I talked about how I used to think the alchemy and the legendaries weren't going to move. And now I've got a different opinion. I think there's something very special happening with Splinterlands right now. I think there's something very special. And I don't think that this can be overstated, actually. I talked about how many packs were sold. I talked about the US dollar valuation. I talked about how quickly that's going. I talked about the audience response and community response with respect to the new card listings and how that content creators and how that's a partnership between the team and the community. That is thriving and kicking butt and pointing towards a foundational success, which should be an exciting in and of itself. But then you go, let's look at Live Coin Watch and see that DEC is at peg. And if you know Splinterlands, you know that we're above peg. DEC is a dark energy crystals is a native token for Splinterlands, and it's part of our tokenomics. And it's supposed to be a product-backed stablecoin. And so what that means is it's a currency of exchange within the context of Splinterlands or Praetoria, where you can buy assets from the team with this dollar value, with this crystal, at 1,000 equating to $1. And so you'll notice when we go back to the sale window that they've planned it such that one standard pack is worth 4,000 dark energy crystals. It's not $4 US, it's 4,000 DEC. And that's important because they're trying to mark and pair and anchor the crystal, the DEC crystal, at 1,000 equals $1, and that would be stablecoin. In fact, it's product-backed stablecoin because when they ensure and they bring it back to peg, or they attempt to hold it at peg by issuing product that is desirable to the community, such as Conclave Arcana, at $1 for 1,000. And so sometimes it falls out of that peg. We call it peg value. Sometimes it falls out of that peg value, but it is brought back to that peg value in times like this by issuance of product-backed stablecoin. This is like a unique offering, in my opinion. I don't know if there's another asset or, blockchain-based experience that does that. I don't know that there is. Yes, there are other things like, for instance, USDT, and there's HBD if you're on a Hive blockchain. Those are different. They're not held at peg by way of, hey, we're going to make sure we offer you product that you're going to want, that's going to be useful to you, that you're going to spend money on, and we're going to accept the currency that we, a certain currency at a peg of value, at a stable token value. things like HBD, to my knowledge, they're algorithmically like inflated, and there's a control over that, and there's mechanisms in math involved to see how many are created, and then and that's how it ends up being held at value, to my knowledge. I might misunderstand HBD, and if I did, apologies. But they're not product backed. Product backed is unique, to my knowledge, and it's one of the ways Splinterlands has been, separated itself in terms of genius, design, and thoughtfulness. And so, all that to say that DEC is above peg right now because so many people are buying it. Why are they buying it? Because they want Conclave Arcana. This is one more indication that the community's kicking butt, the team knows what they're doing, the genius is working, and the success is coming. And in my opinion, this moment is very much like when we were sort of seeing the end of Untamed, and when we're moving towards the release of Chaos Legion. But there's been so many improvements between that moment and this. That moment was exciting. There was a huge bump in player base. There was a huge financial bump in investment. There was a lot of amazing excitement that happened around that time in the moment of Splinterlands history. But there were problems that weren't understood yet. Like dark energy crystals were being issued within the game. That was a source of inflation that has now been curbed. The only pathway to get DEC now is either by burning assets that are permanently gone forever. You can burn SPS, you used to be able to burn cards, and that would produce DEC. But that means that DEC is desirable, necessary, and yet finite. Yes, there's a lot of it. There's like 5 billion DEC, but a lot of it's locked up in liquidity pools. And then all this might sound like, who cares? Zeros and ones and mumbo jumbo. Maybe you don't care about this stuff. But I'm making the point that there is great financial works and foundation that has been laid over the course of the last 7 years, in part within the context of dark energy crystals, but then also within the context of splinter shards or SPS. And so this is the tokenomics of the game, and so the tokenomics look great. That's the short, the TLDR version of this conversation. The tokenomics look great. SPS has doubled in the last 90 days. It was, right there, 30 days, it's doubled, 95% up in 30 days. And, the chart over here very high because there was almost no supply, and that was when it was first started being printed. But we've seen obviously a great amount of stability since, let's say, 2022. And yeah, it's come down, but looks as though, to me, we've found a floor. And I think the flooring happened over here where we're below half a penny, and that was in August 24. And since then we've not gone that low again, and it looks like, and yeah, maybe these volume numbers are like small, or this market cap is trivial, but that is not, in my opinion, a red flag. It's a huge opportunity, because when other people aren't paying attention to something, that's when there's the greatest amount of opportunity. Is there risk? Yes. Am I telling you that this is going to 10x and you're going to be a millionaire? No. This project is awesome. I love it, and I'm excited by it. Splinter Shards is a big piece of why I'm excited by it. But I'm a big bag holder on SPS because I love it. But I think I'm pointing towards fundamental considerations that one can then weigh on their own and make a decision about whether they carry the same opinion, whether 1 + 1 = 2, to me and to you. And if you want to be, let's say, I want to be more fair than that. Maybe that's unfair to say it that way, because I do think two people can disagree on the project of Splinterlands or the token of SPS, and yet both be reasonable. And so I don't mean to make it look like, if you don't get this, you're foolish. It's not that. But I do feel so strongly about it. I feel strongly about Splinterlands. I feel strongly about the tokenomics for SPS, and the future, in my opinion, looks great and bright. The last 30 days have been encouraging, but this to me is a drop in the bucket. And I bring all this tokenomic stuff up in the context of the Conclave Arcana launch because, like I say, Splinterlands uses DEC for a product-backed stablecoin. This is a new issuance of assets that is going to anchor the DEC at that level. As we just pointed out, $650,000 have been spent on these assets this morning in the last 45 minutes or whatever. And that all points to stability in DEC, which leads to an emptying of the DEC coffers, which means, you might not recognize this, it means likely of activation of what we call the flywheel in Splinter shards. It means burning of SPS. And so for all these reasons, I can't properly unpack all this stuff for some of you guys. Maybe some of you know. But if you're hearing this and you go, yeah, Dwayne, we've heard it before. I want you to know that in this moment, there is a unique, let's say, viewership that doesn't. There's a unique attraction to Splinterlands in this moment with Conclave Arcana, with these big numbers moving, with the stability of DEC and the price incline or up and to the right on SPS. There's a unique moment where new voices and new people and new wallets are paying attention. So they need to hear some of these stories maybe that you've heard time and time again. We've talked about them time and time again because we knew that these moments would happen. We actually, some of us did, maybe not everybody did, but I believed that these would predictably transpire again. That Conclave or that something like Conclave would have happened, which would have driven DEC to peg and would have activated flywheel action with respect to SPS. We've seen SPS price spike because people are desperate to acquire, because they understand that there's supply crunches there too. There's supply crunches on DEC, there's supply crunches on SPS, and those mechanics are predictable in the sense that they lead to growth. Is that a promise? No. But there's a great degree of confidence that I'm founding my own position and opinion upon. And I'll tell you also that I, like, on the strength of this, and this is not advice, it's just my story. Everybody that's new here, I recently I read a comment, someone saying like, here we go again. Everybody's talking moon mission and everyone's going to be rich. I have never talked about that on this channel. Those of you who've been here for a while, you'll know I talk about how this is not days, weeks, months. A game like Splinterlands is exciting because it pays you trivial rewards. That's a word I very intentionally use because across time, trivial rewards can add up. And then if there's a token appreciation, those rewards can snowball in a meaningful way. You add up nominal token valuations. Like you get more and more units of the token, and the token is worth practically nothing, half a penny for a time I showed you on the chart earlier, and yet it goes up and it goes up maybe. That's my view, and I think predictably because of a lot of the things I pointed to, even if I haven't been able to fully explain them in the context of this video. And so this number is getting bigger for me in a big way recently because I think we're in a unique moment. And I wonder how many other people agree with that. I think a lot. And I think that's why this number's been going up, and that's why DEC has been held at peg, and that's why we've seen hundreds of thousands of dollars move on Conclave Arcana today. And it's why the Conclave Arcana sale pack is going to pre-sale is going to do extremely well. And then there's assets like this that are another piece and another layer on the product backed stable coin. So it's not just, hey, you can get a pack and there's cards in there that are cool, some of which we can look at in a minute. It's also check out these promo cards and how amazing are they, and they're unique and one of a kind, and they won't even be inside the pack. If you want them, you need to participate in the pre-sale. Every pack purchased during the pre-sale period earns progress towards amazing promo cards. Each earned card has a 4% chance to become gold foil upon the claim, with every 25th card being a guaranteed gold foil, and you can claim promo cards when the set officially releases on May 13th. So we're 3 weeks away or whatever from that, which I'm excited about. But that's my eldest daughter's birthday, so her and I are going on a big adventure. I'll be MIA on that day, which is I'm gonna miss some of the initial fireworks. That's okay, my girl first. Promo cards received are level 1, rare cards, and so these cards are available, but they're only available in this moment. Again, that's another reason why I'm excited about this moment. Looks like another 1,000 standard packs have moved. Alchemy is held pretty stable. I think we moved another 1,000. No, we didn't. I'll tell you also, I bought 30 of these legendaries, and I bought a few hundred of these standards, and I am watching the marketplace. Let's make a transition. I'm going to check in with the chat again. M says, sup, Bree and Dave, glad to see you two having a blast checking out how these cards are working together and how they will work together. Absolutely. Let's talk a little bit about that in a minute when I show some of the cards and maybe imagine some of the synergies. I'm just figuring out, like you guys, I don't have any inside track on the knowledge, but I do have 7 years of experience playing this amazing blockchain-based video game, and maybe some insights that maybe you haven't considered. So we'll look at some of those cards together. Brandon, good to see you, pal. Splinterlands, X Spaces, Clayboyne mentioned that the sale so far has already returned 50% of the DAO's investment. into the set. Crazy, huh? Okay, so I want to sit on that for a minute. Brandon is pointing out. Okay, so for again, some of you know this. Bear with me, because we as a community need to really understand the sales pitch of what Splinterlands is, because there's something uniquely special happening here. And when we gloss over stuff like what Brandon just said, we are missing a part of the fullness of the picture. That is a place where, you know, a piece of the confidence for why people are here and why they will yet come. He's talking about how Splinterlands has a DAO, decentralized autonomous organization, and that's a funded asset or wallet that is controlled by the SPS token holders. And so we call SPS, I talked to you about Splinter Shards, it's our governance token. So the more SPS you have, the more higher the weighted vote you'll have on matters that control the game's development. So we run proposals. We have an SPS proposal window here, and there's a proposal that'll be put through by somebody, and we say yes or no to it. We as SPS holders, the community, therefore it's a decentralized autonomous organization, and it's largely sort of directed by Clayboy, but there's also I forget what they're called. There's a table of individuals that support Clayboy. Bejangles, I know. Who else was on that? I used to know these names, but I'm slipping them. Regardless, there's a group of men and women that support Clayboy in terms of driving some of the key talking points to become proposals, which we then vote yay or nay on. And that is all important because Conclave Arcana was a proposal. This new pack release was paid for, funded by, commissioned by the DAO, by the community. We said, and we raised our hands and said with our vote, we want a new pack called Conclave Arcana. We want this many packs. We want it to be printed on this day with this amount of burn rate, and you know, all this type of stuff was decided by us. And we said we gave that commissioning to Splinterlands, the company, or Steam. I think they're called Steam Monsters Company because that's what the game used to be called. Either way, that company then enacted this, and here we are. And that's all important because what Brandon is pointing to is it's been a huge success. Half today in the first hour and 11 minutes of this sale having happened, in the first hour and 11 minutes, the DAO, that decentralized autonomous organization that is controlled by the SPS token holders, of which you and me, if we have SPS, are part of, we are benefactors of, we benefit from 50% of our initial investment. Of our investment on that commissioning has been returned, because there's a financial mechanism where we share in the sale value of these packs. So I just need to say that one last time. The DAO commissioned the packs, and the packs are not just benefiting the team. Yes, they are financially benefiting the team, but they're benefiting us, the community holders. Why is that relevant in this conversation? First of all, it's another pointer to the massive success of Conclave Arcana, the amazing bullishness of our community, but it also points to something really important that we haven't put our finger on yet. It's this: the SPS token isn't just about governance. It isn't just exciting because it's a really small micro cap and a few $1 million would really move the needle. It isn't just cool because Splinterlands has been here for 7 years. There's all these good reasons, but there's something even more interesting. The DAO itself, the SPS token, is a governance token for the game of Splinterlands, and the DAO is our wallet. Our collective wallet. The DAO has millions of dollars worth of crypto in it, and that wallet is growing and will theoretically, and God willing, will grow across time. And as it grows and grows and grows, what do you think that means for the ownership of SPS as a token? Think about it. If SPS is a key to unlock a war chest, that's my metaphor, there's millions of dollars in that war chest, and let's say that wallet grows and grows and grows, then the key becomes more and more and more valuable, right? Wouldn't it? If there's $5 million in the DAO and the token, the SPS token, is 1.2 cents per token, that the argument there is that the 5 million in that war chest is not super consequential. It's not, life-changing or whatever. So it means that the token, we're kind of okay with the token being kind of relatively affordable, cheap, inexpensive, because 5 million is not that much, maybe. But what if there's 50 million or 500 million, or right? And that can happen across time because of the tokens inside the wallet exponentially appreciating, but it also can happen because of us putting value back into the DAO, which is what this sale is doing. Do you see that? Conclave Arcana is selling millions, or will sell millions and millions of dollars worth of assets. And I think it's half of the value goes to the DAO. This is a crazy, again, sometimes you don't always see the fruit of what you're expecting. Like you do certain actions and you think, I think these are going to lead me to a good outcome. But I think not always are your best guesses at what will be fruitful accurate. But in the context of what I'm describing to you, I think we can predictably conclude that the price of SPS needs to increase across time, especially as it's no longer eventually being handed out for in-game rewards, because there's a limit to that even. All of this, there's just so many predictable pieces of information that lead you to a presumption that SPS in fact needs to appreciate. The DAO wallet growing, the token no longer being minted in probably, I think it's 4 more years. It'll no longer be, it's not minted, is not the right word because it's already been pre-minted, but handed out to players within the context of the game, etc. There's just so many amazing things. And then the fact that SPS can be burnt for DEC, and why would people do that? Because again, they want DEC to enter into product-backed stable coin purchases like Conclave. We want the DEC to buy the packs. We want the DEC to buy the cards. We want the DEC to buy, other assets within the space. And so there's just so much amazing, exciting stuff here. Thank you, Brandon, for sharing that information there. Bree said, plus consider lands recent effect on DEC. Got to get those midnight potions. Oh, wow. See, there's so many layers to all this, guys. Bree and Dave are right. There's also land. Midnight potions are a potion that will be offered for the first time ever through land. In this game, there's not just rank experience. There's not just modern and wild and survival. There's a game that's called land. And the owners of this game, the owners of assets within this space have to think through the economy of that operation. So you've got X amount of plots in a given area, and you are minting assets in that space. I have assets in Highmoor as well as Baxton. These are different regions on that map I showed you a moment ago. And when I develop these lands, they produce assets. Those assets can then be utilized in a way to generate revenue for me. I can sell them directly for SPS, but also now I'm going to be moved to a reality where those assets can be sold, actually minted into midnight potions. Why are midnight potions important? Because they double the opportunity of black foils to drop from your Conclave Arcana packs. Black foils are one of a kind. One of a kind is maybe not the right word. They are really unique and rare. Black foils are like this card on the screen here. Razi Clanktrap is a new Archon or Summoner, and she is from the Death Splinter, and she costs 4 mana, and she has these amazing abilities. Pain Forge, Dominion Bloodline Pain Forge, as well as Close Range. And so this Summoner is black in the background because it's a black foil. That's the first time this has ever happened in Splinterlands. They've never had a black foil before. This is important because it's important because my bad. This is a black foil. It doesn't have the shimmering and shining. You notice the black in the background. This is a black foil arcane, and that's why it's shimmering and shining. This alone, black foils alone, are unique, never been offered before, and they are going to be exceedingly rare. That rarity implies price. Significant utility associated with rarity, collectability, implies higher price. That is very important because it speaks to the utility and or the excitement and value around, and probably sustainability of price on pack sales within Conclave. So black foils are a huge deal, and they've never happened before. And Bree and Dave are pointing to the midnight potions out of land and saying, the land operation is going to draw new attention in the next days and weeks and months, which locks up DEC, Dark Energy Crystals, in your land, because you can't operate your land without doing that. I don't want to explain all of this, guys, but just track with me. We're burying DEC in our land in order to activate the land. Why? Because we want to produce midnight potions. Why? Because black foils are so special and they're so unique and they're going to be really expensive. And so we want black foil potions to get black foil cards, or we want midnight potions to sell them in the marketplace because they will garner real world value to the person who's running land. And so DEC is being buried over here. DEC is being buried over here in the sense that it's being put into the DAO, which the DAO is not spending DEC anytime soon. The DEC that's going into the sale, that's ending up in the dark, in the decentralized autonomous organization, the DAO, the SPS DAO, it's going to sit there. And it's going to sit there until such time that we propose something and we vote collectively to spend it in some way or another. In all likelihood, it's probably going to get burned one day. Or if it doesn't get burned, it'll be spent in moments where it doesn't hurt us to spend it. And so for those reasons, you can consider this a locking up of value that will then create more tension on DEC as well as tension on SPS. And Bree and Dave's point is that dark energy crystals, that's also happening within the context of midnight potions. So it's the product backed stable coins, the promo cards and how exciting they are. It's the C8 packs, it's the land activation and the midnight potions, it's the staking requirements of DEC into it. It's the limited number of DEC, even though there's a lot, there's not enough. And then there's liquidity pools, which we haven't touched on, but there's lots of liquidity pools that lock up DEC too. And all of that creates a tension on the supply. And when supply and demand wrestle against one another, we see increases in price. DEC reaches peg through those forces, and then people can burn SPS to access DEC because of the mechanisms of what we call flywheel. This is so integrated, so thoughtful, and actually, in my opinion, genius. And so it's really important we keep revisiting it, because there are probably hours and hours and hours of unpacking some of this stuff for new people to really understand. And so I hope anyone new who is hearing this is hearing that this is really, there's something special happening here, and that with Conclave Arcana and DEC at PEG and SPS being where it's at, there's a special moment to pay attention to. I'm convinced that's true. Whether you are or not is another conversation. Alex, low cost packs will entice those who want to dip toes in for less, a real positive for tiny accounts out there. Okay, so that's a bit of a different conversation. So let's grab this one. Alex, thank you for the comment. And what he's talking about, guys, is he's talking about how Conclave Arcana isn't just selling standard packs or alchemy packs or legendary packs. We talked about that. And let's do a little update here. We've 64,000 standard packs, 25,500 on the alchemies, and 6,100 on the legendaries. And those packs are huge and awesome and exciting, but there's also something called starter packs. And the starter packs are not available during pre-sale, but they're far cheaper. Notice that they're actually 1,000 DEC to get a starter pack, and the starter pack actually contains 5 common and 1 rare, with one guaranteed to be rare. Gold and black foil cards cannot be found in the starter packs. So if you're tracking with me, this is essentially like a budget version of the standard pack. The standard pack can drop epic, and it can drop legendary, and it can drop black foil or gold foil arcane or black foil arcane cards. Remember, those are those fancy ones. This is the black foil, this is the gold foil arcane, and this is the black foil arcane. And these are exceedingly rare. Look at the gold foil arcane mint population. I'm going to say that one more time, gold foil arcane. There's only going to be 50 commons of any one common. There's only going to be 25 rares of any one rare. There's only going to be 10 epics of any one epic, and there's only going to be 5 legendary of any one legendary. That's really crazy. Like, those are super scarce, and that'll be super valuable. That's not even the best card. The black foil arcane, there'll be 20 of any one common. There'll be 10 of any one rare. There'll be 5 of any one epic, and there'll be literally 1 black foil arcane legendary of every legendary. So I think there might be there's 15 legendaries in this set, something like that. So every one of them will have a black foil arcane. See, there are 15 legendaries, and then every one of them will have a black foil arcane edition or release, 1 copy of it. What's a 1 of 1 card worth, guys? And not only is it, scarce, it's functional, it's useful, and not only is it scarce and functional, it's collectible. Like this is there has never been a card like this with the glowing and the visualizations that are on there. This will be depicted in the context of the battle mechanic, and there's bragging rights essentially that are associated with how your cards look. And people like this stuff. Maybe the person hearing these words doesn't care, but to see that this card, which is an Archimist Bear, is just a regular foil, I can tell it doesn't have gold edges. None of my cards do. Some cards have gold edges. Some of these cards, I'm going to pause for a second. This is a Gladiator. The card looks different. This is a Chaos Legion. The card looks different. This is another Gladiator. Let's see. A lot of Chaos Legion and Gladiators in here. This card here is a Soulbound Reward card. It looks different. This card here is a Rebellion card. It looks different. Every card looks different. And those ones will be one of one. It'll have a visualization that distinguishes itself and that some people are going to really, really care about having. That, again, is utility in terms of collectability. And that's very, very, very exciting stuff. And it will matter to some, even if it doesn't matter to all. This is another reason why black foil potions are going to be desirable, and why DEC will be sunk into land, and why land is exciting as well in this moment, even though we haven't really talked too much about that, and why this moment is different and why it's special. But he's talking about the low cost opportunity there, because it's not just hey, these alchemy packs are $12 and the legendary packs are $24 US. That's kind of expensive. Maybe that's crazy for some people. Now, I don't think it is crazy, because there really is a lot of value wrapped in there. And that's a separate conversation, but I really want to point to the truth of what he's saying, where we go, these starter packs matter, man. I've said it in a separate video, so I won't beat a dead horse, but I'll say these starter packs are way more valuable than I think most people are going to recognize. One quick note on that before I move on. There are 53 commons in this set. See, this is the total Conclave Arcana set list. We're going to get 24 commons, 29 rares, 14 epics, and 15 legendaries. Now, there will be 6 other player design legendary archons that'll come later, as well as 1 rare and 1 legendary promo card, which are not included in the sets. But these legendary archons will be later, so that changes these numbers a little. But there's 24 commons and 29 rares. That's 53 cards. 53 cards out of 82, or if you want to count the summoners, out of 88, 53 cards out of 88 are going to be available inside the starter packs. So I'm saying 5/8 of this set is available for $1 per pack. Not $4 per pack, not $24 per pack, $1 per pack. And yeah, you're not going to get the black foils and you're not going to get the arcane this or that, but you are going to get some amazing cards. Let's look at some of them. This card here is a common. It's called the Cavewise Wayfinder. I haven't looked at this one yet. Looks like Bolts was reposting, and maybe Bulldog shared it. I don't know. I wish I could give proper kudos to those who properly shared it. It looks like Bulldog based on Bolt's X post. But Cavewise Wayfinder, 6 mana, fire element, 4 armor, 11 hit points. That's a lot of hit points for 6 mana. Plus the armor makes him really resilient. 4 melee is not super huge, but he's more of a tank, like a big fatty. Not to say he's like super beefy, but he's pretty beefy when you add in that void. And then he's got ambush, which means he gets to attack before any other card, or at least in the round 0, what we call round 0 of the game. And he's got rage, which will go really well with that melee, as well as that 4 speed. So this is a very synergistic kit. I don't know what that little question mark alludes to, but that's an exciting card for a common. That card as a common is going to be available inside, and it's a gnome. Gnomes, what is the gnome benefit? I'm forgetting now. Every different races get their bloodline benefits with a certain summoner. There's a gnome summoner, so he stands to get a different benefit. I forget what the gnome gives. Is it the close range? I'm going to move on. That's a cool card. That's a common card. Let's grab this one. This is another common card. Bristleborn Brigand. 2 archery, snipe, demoralize. This takes away one of your opponent's melee damage output from every melee damage monster they use. It's a Rodentia. That's the first time I've seen that phrase be put on here as one of the Dominion bloodlines. For 2 mana, this is pretty crazy. 2 mana, really big hit points for 2 mana, and damage output. This is a very, there'll be a lot of use cases for this card. Anytime you see these lower mana pieces, anything under 4 is going to get a lot of be functional in most every circumstance, but 2 is downright cheap, and it's doing reasonable damage. If you can get the same amount of damage as you cost mana, you're doing great. And it's not exactly small either, with 6 hit points and 2 armor, and it's not even per se slow with 3 speed. 6 is the highest usually. 1 is quote unquote real slow. But then sometimes we even see more than 6. So, this is slow-ish, but it's for 2 mana. That's great. Let's keep going. That's a common. You're going to get those in the starter packs. These are functional cards that you're going to be able to enjoy at every level of the game, not just the highest levels of the game. These cards are going to be important at every level of the game. I'm saying these are great cards, and they're available in $1 packs. To the commenter's point, that's really exciting for new players. Not everybody can afford some of these $24 packs or these whatever packs, and so that tells me something that's really, really important. I'm going to keep looking at some of these cards while I continue to make this point. Again, we have a rare. This will be available in your starter packs. I'm going to buy a bunch of starter packs. I am convinced that financially it makes a lot of sense to do that. Now, I also did buy legendary packs. I bought 30 legendary packs. I bought 500 or whatever regular starter packs. And I'm going to buy more of those too. But, so far that's what I've done. Aerial Shield Maiden, Tortesian. So she's a turtle. She's got 4 archery, 8 mana. She's got, again, a good amount of hit points with a decent speed. This is interesting. The opportunity means she's going to attack the weakest monster on the opponent unless there's some sort of distraction that grabs her attention. She's got flight, which is really valuable. That's interesting, a flying turtle. But then she also has something called armor piercing, or armor strike. And so this 6 armor will punch for 6 damage if the melee conditions work. And I think with the opportunity, that means she can fire the 6 and the 4 from the back line, I think. I could be wrong about that, chat. If I'm wrong about that, let me know. Does this need to be in the front line to fire? No, right? The opportunity unlocks the armor strike from the rear, I believe. But either way, great card. Rare, available in starter packs. Let's keep going. This is another rare. Look at this. These are great cards. 4 mana, 4 damage. I told you if the mana matches the damage output. Great card. Happy Kuko, Mundane Beast. Opportunity again. Weapon Train means any monster that doesn't have an ability, this one can teach it melee. It's got Oppress, which is such a valuable card, especially because the Weapon Train has become so meta. There's a lot of cards that don't have any intrinsic attack mode, and they are taught through weapon training, but then Oppress will double damage those ones because they're not actually damage dealers. So if you don't have an intrinsic base attack, Oppress will do double damage. So he's not going to hit for 4, he's going to hit for 8 on anyone who doesn't have any damage. And so great card, and I love that it can teach melee from the back lines with the opportunity. This reminds me of a card from the blue team, which is a soulbound reward from the rebel. But anyway, 7 speed and 7 hit points and 3 speed. Great card. 4 mana, rare, available in your starter packs. Another rare. Look at all these great cards. This is another one. 4 mana, 3 damage output. It's got cripple, which takes away 1 hit point from your possible hit points. It's got self-resurrect, so after it dies, it comes back with 1 hit point, 4 armor, and full speed and attack. And it has divine shield, which means that the first hit it takes will not do any damage to it. Now, if it resurrects, it will have 2 divine shields. This is a very, very cool card for 4 mana, and this is a rare. There are times in the past of Splinterlands where this might have been considered like an epic. If you added one more cool ability, this could have been a legendary. This is a big card for 4 mana. This is a big card for a rare. This is a really good card, and we get into the breakdown and the abilities and when you get them, but I don't want to do deep dives. I just want to kind of keep moving and keep pushing this point. And here we got Clove featuring, shout out to Clove, by the way, featuring the Vicious Giraffe. I don't want to play the video. I just want to... The Vicious Giraffe, I don't want to zoom in or anything, but it's got 8 hit points, it's got 2 armor, it's got 6 speed, it's got 2 damage output for 5 mana. That's relatively low damage output, but it's got amazing speed, and check this out, it's got Shatter. It's also got Shield Ward, which will impute a shield upon, which is a damage reduction upon one of your neighboring ally monsters, which is great. And it has, I think that's Painforge. So when it takes damage, it goes up and it reaches from the second. So this is great. The Shatter, in my opinion, is the big deal here. The 6 speed with the Shatter means that it will punch from the second position before most other monsters do, and it will shatter other monsters' armor. That's amazing. The Vicious Giraffe is great, and it's a common. Now we're looking at a legendary with Bren Palesworn, and this is, sure, you're not going to get cards like this in your starter pack, but still the starter packs are super worth it. I think everybody who doesn't have thousands and thousands of dollars to buy if you can just kind of fat finger a trade and get a max Conclave Arcana, you're not gonna regret that, especially now in the pre-sale with the context of the promo cards and the we didn't even talk about leaderboard raffle rewards, etc. But Bren is awesome and is not available in your starter packs, but still look at how amazing this is. Weapons Train, True Strike, again, Shapeshift. This ability alone is almost single-handedly the reason why I changed my opinion on alchemy and legendary packs in the context of Conclave. The Conclave sale really grabbed my attention because these promos have Shapeshift, and Shapeshift is a crazy ability. And so then this card has it too. And it's another neutral. So this is wild. There's some crazy cards in this set. Here's another rare. Archer Koi, Mundane Beast, Repair, Painforge, Fury, 3 archery damage, 4. Like, this is crazy damage. This set looks great. I covered him already. That's a legendary I covered earlier. Here's a common I covered earlier, but common. Title, like Sneak with 4 damage is really good. It's got Fury and got Repair. It's got 7 hit points and 4 speed. This is a great card. I could go on and on and on about these amazing cards. Only 2 of them that I've shown today are legendary or epic. This one is another epic. This one will not be in starter packs. The point is, the commenter said starter packs are really positioning the way for some people who maybe haven't been able to enjoy pack releases in Splinterlands in the same way as maybe I would. They've been able to enjoy the game, or they will be able to enjoy the game in a new, fresh way, fuller maybe, because of starter packs. This is a big deal. This is really cool. These are not bad. In fact, the one criticism, if any, would be that they're going to sell a lot of units. The starter packs will be available longer than the other packs. The other packs will eventually sell out in, I think, a year, or it could be theoretically sooner. But I think the starter packs will be available until such time that we release another pack. Starter packs will remain available until the release of the next major set to ensure new players have access to discounted cards. That probably means that commons and rares end up not holding their value in the same way as we've seen in the past. And yet that criticism is held very lightly. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. This is a good plan, and these packs are meaningful and valuable, and they represent an access point to the game of Splinterlands, which we want, an open door for more people, not less. And they make it affordable and exciting and enjoyable. And so I think the commenter's right. What else? Red, good to see you with the Haymaker. Stever, sup, our group is 4th, but there's a lot more of that group coming in. Amazing. So Stever participated in a big group buy and is doing so within the context of Conclave Arcana for certain reasons he's outlined on his channel, and he did with me too. Like, there's financial benefits and whatnot to go through it that way. He invited me to participate too. I wanted an opportunity to get some of those black foils and those black, like if you rip a pack, if you buy one pack, one $4 starter pack, you can rip a black foil arcane card. You could. Now, is it exceedingly unlikely? Yeah, it's ridiculously unlikely. And I'm not saying you go chase that, but that's exciting, man. That's very, very exciting. M. Thompson, hi all. NFL Guides, good to see you, pal. Hey there, Dwayne's. Hello, Stever. NFL Guides himself, a land baron, or at least was, and deeply invested in Splinterlands and active and a content creator himself. I think things have changed. He's kind of moved away from Splinterlands for a variety of reasons. I wonder if you're feeling some of the excitement I'm feeling. I'd love to know more about that, pal. I'm going to say Raistlin says hello, and then Stever, hello to all. Woody, NFL Guides, time to get back into Splinterlands. Yep, that's what he said, NFL Guides. Stever, someone do a TikTok of our Shimmer and Shine cards dancing. Heard it is a trend. Eli, good to see you, buddy. Team, that was already, I think we've been going for an hour. And I haven't even talked about really what I've done and what I'm doing, because I've made moves, so we could talk about that in a minute here. Let's push through the chat here first. Thanks for coming, Eli. You're awesome. You're always here. I'm going to try and do another Thursday. I'll do a members only on Thursday, guys. Yeah, I got time on Thursday. Richard Kimball. Eli is one of the members, just for those who don't know. That's why he's got the slightly different name, and he's got like a little logo beside his name. Richard Kimball says, I like that the DAO is a diamond handing. Yeah, DEC, absolutely. And diamond handing SPS. The DAO holds a lot of SPS. It holds a lot of DC. You can find this stuff on Hive if you want. There's a regular post that comes out that literally documents how much assets are in the DAO. That's all deeply valuable from a value analysis of what the SPS token should be worth. Because again, the SPS token is a key for the war chest of the DAO. Hi Horace, good to see you, bud. I've been watching you for 3 years, Dwayne. Now it's getting exciting. I fight in Champion. Never thought I would ever do that. I own 95% of all cards. Wait till SPS hits 10 cents. Yes, Horace has been one of the regulars for 3 years. And for let's say this too. Over the last 3 years, there's been a lot of reasons to be concerned. Now, did I ever feel, let's say, apprehensive about Splinterlands? No, not at all. Because I've understood even in the last bull market that we would go through bear markets. I said that. I said in the last bull market before Chaos Legion launched, and when my channel was blowing up for the first time, I said things like, many of you who are watching my videos are going to during the next bear market disappear, because there has to be bells and whistles for some people. Maybe they don't go full deep. They just hear and they want to chase green candles. I never recommend that stuff. I always say, like, look, if you believe in the fun and the entertainment and the long-term perspective, then you're going to want to be in this space. At least I do. I see lots of reasons. And I see Horace having ridden that wave as being one of those people too. He's been here through it. He has voiced, vocal criticism of what Splinterlands has done or not done. And yet he's continued to grow and inch by inch take more of, this game and the deck and, accessing deeper into other things. And now, Horace, now you're right, man. This is a moment. There is so many reasons. For the last hour, we've talked about them, and I cannot revisit them all, but there are so many reasons why this moment is particularly special for Splinterlands. Conclave Arcana, land 1.75, DEC at peg, SPS spiking double in the last 90 or 30 days. 10 cents is a very real possibility. Is it a promise? No. It's a very real possibility. I said before the bull market, I thought 10 cents was probably going to be a bit of a blow off top moment, but I could see us getting to 20. But I do think 10 is probably, in my mind, if we make it to 10, that would be really probably a top. Why do I say that? Because that would be 20x from where we were at half a penny. Half a penny times 20 is 10 cents. And just for round numbers, like 20x is like, in crypto, it's like, that's a significant home run. And a lot of people will start profit taking it. It's sort of these benchmarks, 10x, 20x. Could we make it to 20 cents? And that would be a 40, I think it's a 40x, isn't it? Yeah, I think we actually could. I don't really see us going past that in this cycle. But I ultimately do think SPS, for all the reasons I've laid out, has a bright future beyond those numbers. Bolt says, I don't want any shiny card. I need a shiny Splinterlands card. I don't want a shiny card. I need a shiny Splinterlands card. Yeah, man. That sword packs a punch, and that's all I'm saying. I wonder if you're talking about this, like one of the monsters we revealed earlier. Ole Bulls, go 12. Good to see you, pal. Bolts, the mystery ability on Cavewise is... Oh, and I feel like we saw a release which showed this face as one of the abilities too. So I think Bolts is actually telling me what it is, but I forget where that... I think Blaze KOS posted on X showing like, here's the new abilities and the symbols that go with them. And I believe that face is one of them. Devin says, no, it can throw its shield from the back. So Devin was clarifying that the opportunity monster with armor strike can attack with its armor from the rear. It has to have opportunity though. I know that because I have Elias Pruitt, which is a summoner that can apply armor strike. And I have accidentally put it in the back line where I'm thinking it'll hit the front and it doesn't. It needs to have opportunity or whatever. I feel myself sneezing. I'm going to mute myself for a second here and try and get this guy out. Nope. When you want to, you can't. Jetto, sup? Devin, Quokka looks very good. Wibble wee. Paul, good to see you. Oscar, thanks for popping through. Oscar, part of the Time and Attention, crushing it. Amazing man. Been here since before Chaos Legion. Oscar's another one who's ridden through the depths. Like many of you, you've ridden through the depths, and now there's some excitement here. And I wonder what you're thinking, Oscar. Like you've shared, you've been very real, and you've shared how sometimes you've been frustrated, deeply frustrated with either what's been done or what's not been done. And now with this, is this a different moment, or what are you thinking? I'd love to see that, pal. And if you want to chat just offline too, I'm happy to do that with you sometime. Also, shout out to Necro. Necro on Time and Attention 1. I saw that he won the leaderboard last season. So going to rank here. Little digression, guys. Just talking guilds. So champion. Oh, okay. It wasn't last. It was the season before. I saw him. Oh, this is last. See, this is this season. Look at. Oh no, it wasn't last season. Oh, it was wild. I'm pretty sure I'm. There he is, the Necromancer, Time and Attention 1. If anybody wants to get into a guild, Time and Attention, or, we have a variety of levels too. So for everybody, so reach out to us on Discord and get involved, guys. This is, like I alluded to earlier, there's modern, there's wild, there's survival, there's land, there's the game within the game, but there's also guilds and how that opens up gladiator or brawls, which then there's so much to this game. I can't cover it all in one sort of moment or video, but shout out to Necro for kicking butt. And that was last season. Last season, Wild League champion, 8,000 points, crushing it with $1 million glint payout. Okay. I'm going to take a moment and just share a bit about what I'm doing with Conclave and why. I may clip this later because ultimately I do think this is a strategy that makes sense. So first and foremost, here's what I bought so far. I bought 507 Conclave Arcana packs regular, and I bought 30 of the more expensive pack, the legendaries. And I think legendaries are just too important, man. They're too important. They're too special. Plus, when you talk about black foils or black foil arcanes or gold foil arcanes, you got to remember you can't get a legendary black foil arcane unless you first get a legendary. And so these legendary packs every one of those packs is going to have a legendary in it. That's awesome by itself. Yes, it's $24 US, and that's a hard pill to swallow. But for one thing, buying it in the pre-sale gives me points on the leaderboard, gives me promo cards, gives me, right? There's reasons aside from what I'm telling you now, but also the pack containing a legendary gives me that opportunity for that crazy, earth-shattering, life-changing card draw. If you get a legendary black foil arcane, I think you're talking $10,000 plus. I think you are. I think it's a $10,000 card. And it's not just one card. Any of the black foils or the black foil arcanes or the gold foil arcanes, these cards aren't just one card. They're actually multitudes of cards, because a black foil or a gold foil arcane or a black foil arcane are actually a max level card. So if it's a common, it equates to like a 30, I think it's 38. Like it equates to many BCX. It's not one, it's just a full max card. And so that's crazy too. Like even just so whether it's a black foil or the highest level, a black foil arcane, that would be life-changing. And I wanted some exposure from those packs. And so I think those are valuable. I think they're meaningful. I think they're worth the money. Like I said at the beginning of the video, I've changed my opinion on those. I initially thought that they probably wouldn't move. I think the alchemy and the legendary packs are worth our attention, even though they're expensive. That doesn't take away what I also said to the commenter in the video. In this conversation, I said that the starter packs are worth our attention, and I want some of those too. I think probably the starter packs, I would probably want 1,000 of those. And so, because I think those commons and rares, it's too affordable to not, if you can't afford the regular packs to max out your Conclave Arcana set, buying some of those starter packs to access those commons and rares, which we featured many of them today on this video, points you towards their, those packs valuations and significance. A rare, common, rare, common. Like there's some great cards in there that are going to be available in those packs. So yeah, I think, don't sleep on it. And so But I wanted some of this exposure. I don't think I'll buy any more of those. I might not even open all those. I don't know what I'm going to do yet in terms of opening, because you could open these packs early and flip some of the assets on the marketplace because there'll be such low supply. It's possible that would be a viable strategy to make your money back. And that's worth thinking through. Plus, when at the very moment of when the packs are openable, it would be conceivable that your greatest probability of dropping a black foil arcane would be possible. Do you see why? Because if any black foil arcanes get opened by somebody on day one, then they can't be opened by you. And so there are now fewer that can be opened. But at the same time, as more packs get opened by the collective Splinterlands community, and maybe there are no black foil arcanes, presumably that increases your odds, I guess, in some respect, because I think if this math's a little bit over my own head, but I believe what I'm saying is generally accurate. And so I like these. I want them. I'm not sure if I'm going to open them on day one or if I'm going to hold them, because ultimately I think holding them long term, they'll hold value. I think these are going to be valuable assets in the future for a lot of reasons I don't want to fully articulate right now. But as you can see, I also believe in the starter packs. Now, this is just me. I'm going to open these for sure. Those are me trying to get myself conclave ready. And I'm hoping for some big luck. I kind of wanted to do 600 because I was hoping that would be maybe 2 gold foil legendaries. That's about the odds, like 330 packs or something like that, last I heard, ish. But I kind of think of it as like 300 packs translates to 1 gold foil legendary. And I would imagine for me, what that would look like is I'm going to sell that gold foil legendary into the marketplace as quickly as possible to try and reap a certain amount of financial payback that I can then maybe reinvest into more packs, not from the pre-sale, because the pre-sale will be done by that point, but May 13th moving forward, the general sale will begin, and I would buy more starter packs or regular packs at that time with the value that I'm going to not want here. So I'm probably not keeping any of my gold foils. So to me, strategy means rip these day one, maybe rip these day one, sell any gold foils or gold foil legendaries as quickly as possible, because I want to reap some value back to then reinvest into more Conclave Arcana sets, packs, regular or starter or both. Now, I might get some other alchemies as well, or legendaries as well. I might. But that'll be a broader conversation on the crypto space, depending on what SPS does, depending on what my other bags do. And so, because I would be willing to put in another $5,000 or $10,000 in the right financial circumstances within the context of crypto doing what I want crypto to do. And so, this is what I've done so far, and that's what I'm thinking for toward the end of the pre-sale and the beginning of the general sale. But I will also say that there's one more piece I think is valuable for people to think through. I said before this happened, before the pre-sale began, that the $4 regular packs will be sold on the peer-to-peer market for less than $4. And I was right. Let's go see. Market other items. Here we go. Conclave Arcana standard packs. Now, there's not a lot of them, but there's some of them. And I'm buying a few of those too. I bought 7 this morning. So I bought 500 from Splinterlands for $4 a pop, because I truly believe that this pre-sale could sell out before the pre-sale is done. I truly believe that. And by the way, there's burn mechanisms on any day where there's not minimums met. And so, meaning, although there's 500,000 regular packs set aside for pre-sale, it's possible that some of those get burned. Same with alchemy. There's 100,000 alchemy. There's 50,000 legendaries. Some of those could get burned. And so, I think the pre-sale could move so hard, especially if SPS goes from 1.2 to 3 or 4 cents. Watch out, guys. And if DEC's at peg at that moment, watch out. This is a very exciting time, but I predicted, despite all that there should be reason to see packs come onto the peer-to-peer marketplace for less than $4. Why? Why is it less than $4? Because Andy B wants to sell these 18 packs and then go buy more packs. Andy B probably got his DEC when DEC was not at peg value. When it was not at 1,000 for $1, it was 600. Look at the DEC chart in the last 90 days. This is the last 90 days to go up and to the right. So, it was over here at 0.6 of a penny. No, sorry, I shouldn't say 0.6 of a penny. It was at what we call 657 splintoshis. That's the phrase we use, which is to say that it was at 0.000657 That was the US dollar valuation of it. 000657. And that was on that was in February of 25. So 2 months ago, 2.5 months ago, that was there. And we've gone up into the right since then, back into the peg area. And so why is that important? Because a lot of people built their bags over here. If you've been holding SPS for 90 days or 12 months, there were moments in here where you were, that's August 24. Or over here, that's July 24. Or over here, that's June 24. And you can go back even farther. And there's other moments where you could have been building your DEC bag and now reaping a 50%, almost a double valuation on those tokens. Do you see that? Because again, they knew and they believed that the product-backed stablecoin dark energy crystals would predictably move toward peg. And so they felt confident and comfortable putting large amount of money into DEC, waiting for this moment to happen. And so there are people, maybe Andy is one of them, maybe you're one of them, that did that and bought millions of DEC, or and you just were doing that in the anticipation that Conclave Arcana would create this moment. And I actually bet some of those people did that to buy Conclave. And I bet some of those people did that to flip DEC, meaning you bought a DEC bag in preparation for moments like this because you want to sell DEC into moments like this. Maybe that's why DEC was above peg earlier today and now it's slightly below peg. Oscillations around peg in moments like this are very normal though. And so I'll say that too. But so again, DEC was very recently, 90 days ago, 80 days ago, way over here at 659 Splintoshis. And we're now at 985 Splintoshis. That's a 50% increase in your price. So people like that took advantage of those early DEC prices could buy a quote unquote $4 pack for $250. And then you can sell it on the market for $350. And then you got more DEC today from your resale to then go buy more packs or to take a little bit of profit back from your initial hard, right? Like this, it's just games on games on games. But then also, if you paid $4 for this pack, here's another line of thinking. If you paid $4 even Steven for this pack, Conclave standard pack, and you sell it to me for $350, that's not even necessarily a bad deal if you're a certain person who would want to do that. Well, again, there isn't just packs being sold here for $4. There's actually promo cards being given away to those who buy. And there's also mage wagons that are being, I guess the mage wagons is a small piece, but you do get some amount of mage wagons when you participate in this thing. Where's that piece? Yeah, I got eight mage wagons through my purchase. But then there's, which participate in your conflict, which give airdrops, etc. But then there's pre-sale leaderboard. You get to design an Archon, which is a summoner. And if you win that, you're going to get a max regular foil, gold foil, and black foil copy of that summoner. The Arcane Legendary title is another thing you get if you win. Arcane Skinwalker, max, a black foil max level, which is nutty. And Grammel the Hunger, a gold foil, 1 CC. Okay. But that's a lot of potential incentive to say, if I'm a big player, a big whale, I want to be one of the top 6. And so maybe I'm buying $4 packs and selling them for $350 because I'm willing to take a small L to access more pre-sale points, because every pack I buy from Splinterlands is pre-sale points, and that's leaderboard rewards. And not just that, it's pre-sale raffle points, because those every 1,000 points earned during the pre-sale will additionally grant raffle tickets for Conclave Arcana pre-sale raffle. And the raffle will take place immediately upon official release of the set on the 13th. We'll be delivering some of the rarest cards in Splinterlands history to 71 lucky winners. That could be me. That could be you. It doesn't have to be the top buyer. It's anybody who bought one pack in the presale. That's the crazy thing. Now, are your odds as good as any other person? No. If Necromancer buys 50,000 packs, or if he spends if somebody spends $2 million on Conclave Arcana, they're going to have more odds than you, or more opportunities than you, to win the big pre-sales or the pre-sale raffles. But nevertheless, anyone can win. 71 lucky people will win. And they'll win things like black foils and black foil arcanes and gold foil arcane variants of both promo cards. That's crazy. So make sure you check Team Splinterlands. But look at, here's some of the prizes. There's one Grandma the Hunger black foil arcane. That card alone, there's one of it. Hang on. Yeah, Grandma the Hunger is a legendary. Black foil arcane is the best variant. One available copy, to my knowledge, because yeah, there will not be any Grandma the Hungers in the Conclave packs. This is the singular Grandma the Hunger black foil arcane that will exist. Legendary copy. This is the singular copy of that card. And here's that card. Let's just spend a minute on this, how crazy this card is, because it points toward the pre-sale opportunities and why Mono would sell $4 packs for $3.50. And that all helps us understand what might be an opportunity for you. It's not just like bragging for them. It's an opportunity for you, because if you can predictably expect $3 and $3.50 packs on the marketplace, peer-to-peer marketplace, that's a pathway into cheaper Conclave Arcana. That's what we're talking about. And yet it's exciting to them and to us. It's like the top fish benefit and maybe the krill benefit. Grandma the Hunger. He's got triple attack. That's crazy. Never had that before. This guy would like to benefit with, would like to play with that dragon. What's his name? There's that summoner that gives +1 magic, melee, and archery. I forget his name. But anyways, 11 mana, a little on the high side for mana, but no big deal when you look at the kit, because he can fire from the back line and do a lot of damage. The melee isn't going to fire from the back line, but oh wait, it is, because charge. So from the back line, this thing does 6 damage. Now, you know, it's not directed because of the scatter shot. It's not like this would be, if this was opportunity, this card would be crazy. Scattershot makes it probably like logistically feasible, whereas an opportunity or a sneak would have been just broken. But then Relentless Strike is really important too, because that attacks deal true damage means that if you have Void and I hit you, my magic is still going to do 2 damage. If you have Shield and my range or my melee hits you, I'm still going to do 2 damage. It's not impeded by your shield or your defensive mechanism. I am going to hit true damage. That's important. And this camouflage means that this card is going to be buried and secret. What? This card in the back line could be buried behind, in a 99 mana context, buried behind beast after beast, hit point wall after hit point wall, and this card is allowed to just hide in the back line because of camouflage, doing crazy damage output and exponential growth on that damage output because of 2 amazing things: the Relentless Strike, as well as Shapeshift. Shapeshift we talked about earlier, and maybe you guys already know, but man, I gotta frame it in this context because of how meaningful it means to what the pre-sale of Conclave is going to look like. The Shapeshift makes this card every single race. Why is that important? Because all of the summoners that are I have some of them listed here on my X. I'm going to show them visually. I don't have them all. Where is it? Here. Okay, so Clank Trap, she's a gnome. She gives Pain Forge to all of her gnomes. That Shapeshift card is a gnome. Pain Forge amps the damage output. So with Razi producing Pain Forge, they're going to get buffs. Bella is going to provide a shield as an Uland to all Ulans, but that Shapeshifter is an Uland. Kalia Silverleaf is an elf, and she's going to provide Execute to all elves, but that Shapeshifter is an Executor. And actually, there's a dwarf that does applies Void, I think. There he is. Back it up. Let's go big. This dwarf, now I know that's a little blurry. Let's go back here. It's a little blurry, but he's providing armor, and to all dwarves he's giving Void. This used to be Void armor, but it's Void. So that he's going to make all dwarfs will have more resiliency against magic attack. And then this is the other one, the Gorgug the Endless. He's an orc and he's going to provide enrage to all orcs. And what is a shapeshifter an orc? Yes, it is. This is craziness. These cards are amazing, and they are going to move units, and that is going to mean opportunity for you. Let's just finish there, and we'll say why did I spend 10 minutes talking about it? Because I think we're going to see more packs of Conclave be sold during the pre-sale than people quote unquote want, because they actually are chasing after leaderboard rewards. They're actually chasing after raffle tickets. They're actually chasing after promo cards. And while that's maybe not ideal, because it can theoretically translate toward more packs being sold to weak hands that don't really want them, I would argue against my own point and say that's not a problem, because black foils, gold foil arcanes, and black foil arcanes will always hold pack values at a certain level, or at least across time. And so right now during pre-sale, there will be discounted packs on the shop right now. I would not expect there to be discounted Conclave packs on May 13th. In fact, I wouldn't expect it to happen in 2 weeks, probably toward the end of the pre-sale. I expect there to be right now an ample audience of people who are buying more Conclave packs than they want to access promo cards, leaderboard rewards, and raffle tickets. And they will then flip them onto the market to the extent that the market will allow. There's now 118 units on here, and they're just under $4. I think Leg Multi is. I don't know that those are going to move. Not easily, not rapidly. Yeah, you're saving, what is it, 1.1% or something like that. Like, I think kind of who cares. But Andes will probably move. They've been here for a while though. I bought up 11 extras that were under $350. My expectation would be over the next coming days, assuming the Conclave Arcana presale doesn't just immediately sell out in the next 24 hours, which I kind of doubt. But if this persists for most of or all of the presale window between now and let's say May 1st, which is still 10 days away, 9 days away, I think you can see a growing number of Conclave Arcana packs being listed here, because people will be trying to do what I just described. And why does that matter for you? Because you can come in here and buy 350 packs. You can save, is that 20%? The difference between, you're saving 50 cents. It's more than 10%. It's like 12, 13% or something like that. That's not inconsequential. That's a big deal, especially for people who are trying to stretch what they're capable of. Now, should you buy one of these, or should you buy, 3.5? Should you buy 2 of these at a discounted price from Andy B, or should you buy 7 starter packs? I mean, that's up to you now. But do you see that this is another option and another way that the small guy could benefit? There's a pathway here in a moment like this where there is opportunity all around you. And one of the questions is, how do you turn barriers into benefits? Because that's what Andy's trying to do. He's got a barrier. He has a goal. He's trying to turn it into a benefit. He's trying to move these units in this context, even for a discount, but that becomes a benefit to you. And so there's something you got to pay attention to Splinterlands in moments like this, because it's not just, hey, do I want to pack or not? It's like, what are the incidental connections to this moment? I talked earlier about how land is going to soak up DEC, especially as midnight potions are coming online. What is that going to do for DEC's peg price? I talked about how DEC peg price affects SPS and the flywheel. What is that going to do for SPS price? If SPS price spikes radically, what is that going to do for pack sales? If pack sales sell out in the pre-sale, what's that going to do for excitement around the game? If people open Conclave Arcana packs and receive black foil arcane edition cards that are 1 of 1, what is that going to do for social media and people blowing up and recognizing what Splinterlands is? Do you see how this moment is different? Do you see how special this moment is? And it's largely it's largely a product of, one, an amazing community that hasn't given up and that is loving this game now more than ever, but also 2, a genius team that continues to evolve some of the hurdles that they had tripped over in the past and improve it so they're now in a better place today, And then 3, genius new invention around how they reimagine chase cards in the context of these packs. The black foils, the gold foil arcanes, and the black foil arcanes, they are chase cards. And like any set that is ever sold in any game ever, or any asset collectible that is ever sold ever, when there is a chase card, it moves units. That is exciting. And it isn't just cool because you might make thousands of dollars when you open a pack. That's really awesome. It's also amazing because it decentralizes advertising. How vigorously John Doe will advertise for Splinterlands once they rip a pack and they open a black foil or a black foil arcane. There will be this passion and vigor that will mark their communities, because they aren't necessarily in our community. We're talking about people who might be tangentially connected to Splinterlands, but then they come and they check it out a little bit, they buy a few packs, they rip something crazy, and then they go back to their community and they communicate the intensity of this moment. This is special. This moment is special, and we have reason to be excited. I hope you guys are excited. I'm really excited. I'm now getting pretty hungry though. And I think I've said everything I want to say, and that's an hour and a half. So I'm going to leave it at that. Actually, before I do though, I'm going to say goodbye to some people, and I'll see if there's any quick comments. Horace said, I just bought 30 packs of pre-sale. Gets me 3 promo cards. That's amazing. You're not going to regret that. Oscar says, not sure yet. I might go the Stever route this time. Not sure yet though. I have another 18 days to decide. I will say, Oscar, from what little I know about going through Stever, it sounds like because of the resales that they make, there's a good chance you're going to make some DEC back. I don't know the people, but it sounds like that's probable, impossible. So that's kind of cool. And then he says, this would mean 160 legendary packs. Okay. 190 normal packs and 1800 starter. Oh, I see. So you're not talking about going in on the bulk buy with Stever. You're talking about you want to buy 160 legendary packs, 190 normal packs, and 1800 starter packs. Big decision, I guess. Yeah. Oh, what he said, I keep cutting out? Oh, that sucks. Is it just me or everyone else? Bree and Dave say it was just Woody maybe. And then Eli says me too. Woody says he closed out YouTube and it seems fine. And Eli too. Okay. Cheers, guys. You guys are amazing. Steve, thank you, buddy. Guys, check out Stever's channel too. And Woody, yeah, I hope you join the members channel, pal. I'll be live on Thursday, roughly the same time.